Zinker, and he's Derek, and welcome to Speletons. We're doing Kingdom Hearts 2.
I really hoped you were gonna say next time on Spell It. Last episode, but
yeah, alright, sorry. Derek ended the episode mid-episode so we could talk about his work thing. So what's this thing you do
no,
that
I
you
knew
said
that at the end of the episode.
You ended the episode.
I've done the thing in some series. I've done things where I told you about my work situation just because I want to hear your opinion out of it. Because I guess a lot of times you think I'm just in the wrong with my problems at work.
I mean, I am a manager.
Or I think I'm a bad coworker, and you're also a manager. Yes. So like, I want to hear what you think.
Yeah. Fair.
Okay. So, and this wasn't to me at all. But I flat out told several people what I would have done if it wasn't that at my work. I don't think I told any of the managers, but like I think they just know.
Okay.
Oh,
wow.
So, I want you to keep in mind, we at my work we do not do any sort of. They do not ever ask us what our availability is.
Right.
Because I know at your work you do that. Right, you guys
sorta.
You put in your availability, whatever.
You can put in your availability, yeah.
Okay. So, one of my coworkers normally has Mondays and Tuesdays off.
Okay.
And they give us our schedule 2 weeks in advance. So like you know, like they have like every week, like they'll have like the current week's schedule, and then we'll have the next week's schedule as well.
Right.
Like they make those in advance.
Yep.
You're here.
That's as far as they schedule.
Wait, how
Your
far?
Royal Highness, did you happen to summon us?
Yes.
So you'll have the current week and the next week.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's actually quite polite.
Like this Monday through Sunday, and next Monday through Sunday.
That's relatively speaking, that's quite polite.
Sora.
I feel like it should
The king told me all
you
about
should have it
you
like
in his
2
letters.
weeks out in advance,
He
really.
said you're a very brave young man.
Oh, that's sort of
So,
2 weeks.
do you know where he is?
That's not bad.
It's I would call it 2 weeks.
Yeah. Anyhow. Yep.
So
My. So those are the Heartless.
she
Don't worry, we'll
used
take care of
to
'em.
work the overnights on Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
I know I can count on you, Sora.
But
Now, there's
when we
something
reopened,
I'd like all of you to come and see.
she was not brought back
Would
yet.
you please escort me
when
to
we
the
first
audience
reopened.
chamber?
And someone else took over her
I forgot to warn
overnight
everyone else in the castle about the danger.
Okay.
We must be sure they're hidden
and has
somewhere
been working them
safe.
since,
Okay.
Okay.
We'll go tell them.
more or less.
We just gotta split up, Donald.
She
I'll make sure
also
that everyone knows what's going on.
was pregnant. The person who's working the overnights.
Okay, then I'll stay with
Okay.
the queen.
Right now,
Alrighty
she's
then,
pregnant.
See you later.
Not anymore.
The
All
audience
right.
chamber, right, ma'am?
Yes, Sora.
Uh,
Let's be on our way.
so what happened is because we knew she was going to be going on maternal leave, the managers asked the person who used to do the overnights, hey, when that person goes on maternal leave, can you take over your overnights again? And because which would mean her having her working on Monday and Tuesday, which she was going to have off, or she normally has off,
Okay.
and then having Wednesday and Thursday off.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, when she goes on maternal leave, I'll do that.
Okay.
Now, the pregnant person was scheduled to work through. So today's Monday.
Yeah.
The pregnant person was scheduled to work this week, and then I don't know when her due date was exactly,
Okay.
but she was supposed to basically work. I think she was scheduled for at least like today and tomorrow, being Tuesday, for the overnight.
Okay.
So, sometime last week, however, I worked Monday and Tuesday last week, and I was off Wednesday and Thursday.
Right.
And when I came back Friday, the pregnant I found out that which I was expecting, the pregnant person was off for her maternal leave because she was having her kid.
Right.
Or maybe she already had her, I don't know. Had her kid.
Let's go.
Right.
This way.
Now because of this, I believe on Thursday,
This way. Let's go.
I think the last day that the pregnant person worked, probably Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday.
This way.
So
Let's go.
actually no, I think she also has Wednesday and Thursday off. I don't know. Anyways, so the person who do overnights on Thursday, one of the managers told her, hey,
This way.
so because the person went on maternal leave next week, we're gonna need you to work Monday, Tuesday for the overnight, and then you'll have your Wednesday, Thursday off.
Sorry. I just watched a little minute bomb like run at me. It was fucking funny. Alright.
This way. Let's go.
So on Thursday, basically, they told her, hey, next week, we're switching your days off from Monday, or we're switching your days off from from Monday and Tuesday to Wednesday and Thursday. So you're gonna work Monday and Tuesday, and then you're gonna have Wednesday and Thursday off.
Let's go.
Okay.
Now,
Oh, I didn't mean to
Of
finish
course.
there, but
Just one moment.
she's very annoyed by this because, like basically 3 days in advance, 4 days in
As soon as
advance.
the trouble
want-
started, I
however
made
you
sure to
want
seal
note it.
this room.
yeah.
They told her they swapped her days off basically,
Okay.
and she didn't want to work that Monday
Now
and Tuesday
then, shall we?
Okay.
because she claims she has plans. I'm pretty sure she doesn't. That she has life, but like, I regardless though, that's not anyone's business, and that's like what she's doing.
Right.
Got him.
They changed up her schedule on very short notice.
This way. Let's go.
And
Yeah.
she told them
3 days
she
in
has
advance.
plans. And
This way.
the managers were not
Let's
at
go.
all helpful in trying to, and basically they were not at all. Basically, she said,
Let's
"Hey,
go.
she basically said like, I will like, I don't want to work, or I have
Let's
stuff.
go.
I don't
Right.
want to work those days." And the managers were like, "Well, you are."
This way. Let's go.
I mean, so I believe the managers
You don't
can
have anybody else to cover it.
do
You
that
are.
technically. Now, so
Either they can or not.
Let's go.
well, they can do it. Yeah, I think
This way.
because I'm pretty certain we
Let's
could
go.
do that if we wanted to at my work. Doesn't mean it's what you should do. By the way,
Let's go.
You can do it.
This way.
We've had situations at my job
Let's
where
go.
they've made people stay an hour late, which I think is
This
fine
way.
if you're
Let's
informed
go.
beforehand that hey, because we used to do this thing called
This
a
way.
soft open, or not soft open, a
Let's
soft
go.
close. And essentially, we might stay an extra hour, open an
Let's
hour
go.
later, if we were busy enough, you know.
Let's go.
Which a lot of people be like, well,
This way.
that's
You're
kind of
aware
shitty.
that-
If you're aware that's the
that can
situation,
happen, then
that's
that's
not
fine.
bad. One time,
Let's go.
If you can be prepared, you should be prepared for it. You should
This
be
way.
like, you should know that it's something that could
Let's
happen
go.
and be allowed to be.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's
It shouldn't just be something sprung on you
or
one day that
what
where
they
you like,
what they could
they're like,
do
This
"Fuck,
way.
wait, you're an extra hour."
Let's
is
go.
just schedule people an hour later. So it's like, oh well, I'm
This
scheduled
way.
to work those hours. You know.
Let's go.
It's even more or less shitty, or less
This
shitty.
way.
Um,
Let's go.
which is something I wish they do for breaker shifts, because
Let's go.
not anymore, because I convinced them to add an additional breaker
This
essentially,
way.
which thank fucking God, the breaks
Let's
can
go.
actually finish properly. That's a whole other shish kebab
This way.
some other day. But,
I have a whole thing about breaks too,
Let's go.
But,
if you want to, if we want to get into that at some point.
Alright,
But we'll get.
that sounds
we're
like a
on
next
different bridge
episode.
for right now.
We are on a
This
different
way.
bridge. But let's see here. Anyhow, there was one time where I believe it was my sis
Let's go.
forgot to schedule everyone an hour later than we were actually going to close that week.
Come on, give me a
Or
break.
that day. It was that specific day. So we kind of just, like, forced everyone to stay an hour.
Huh?
And I wasn't a big fan of that, you know. What I ended up doing was I went and I made I made meal cards for everyone. And I went and handed it to them. And only 2 people were like, no, I'm absolutely not going to do that, or something like that. And I was like, that's fine. I did it as polite as I
I'd be like,
possibly
"That's
could.
fair."
The room below.
It
is
was
called the
it was
Hall
sort
the
of a
Cornerstone.
mistake. So
Our castle has
you know,
always been safe from worlds that
I
are
get
evil.
why, like, in that
Thanks
situation,
to
we
the
kind of
cornerstone of
had to
light,
make them
which
stay.
we
At the
keep
same
down
time,
there.
I didn't feel all
The
that great about it.
cornerstone of
So it's
light?
why I went and made the meal cards. It's sort of like I'm sorry. You know? And it worked out. But if you'll recall, there was a time where I talked
This is
about
the
how they were,
castle's
with
cherished
little
cornerstone.
notice,
Oh,
they wanted to make
but look. The
everyone
thorns,
come in an
they
extra
must be
hour
the work of
early.
someone very
Specifically,
evil.
they were talking the
I wonder what
day
this could
before,
mean.
at night, but it doesn't matter when. The day before, to increase everyone, to like basically have everyone come in an
No
hour
way.
early. And I turned around and looked at them and said, "I'll be in at 11."
Well, well,
Uh,
well. What have we here?
Because I would
If
not
it
have come in
isn't the
early if they
wretched
scheduled me like
Keyblade
so.
holder and his
Um,
pitiful lackeys.
Because it's too late notice. I mean,
All in
an
good
hour
Yeah.
I
a week in
promise
advance,
You'll be able to partake
whatever.
of my vengeance, but you must
unless you
be patient.
genuinely have
Just
something
what are
going
you doing
on.
here, Maleficent?
Which,
Queen Minnie,
honestly, if you did,
radiant as
we would
always.
probably, like, find
I'm here on a
some
property
workaround for
venture.
that hour.
I want
If
this
you
castle
actually
for
had
my
some,
own.
but, like, no one,
However,
an
it's a
hour is
bit
not making a
too
difference.
bright
Especially
for
if it's
what I
at
have in
close,
mind.
too.
I suppose
something,
I'll just have to
uh,
fill every room
Like, you're staying an extra
with
hour at
my
close, and you know a week
personal
ahead.
touch
It
of
was different in that
darkness.
scenario I described, because everyone was already there
You
expecting
better
to leave
stop
at, like,
right now
9
if you know
that
what's
night.
good for
And
you.
around 6, I'm going around being like,
how
"Hey,
frightening.
guys, I'm so sorry."
Very well. I'll stop. Just
Um,
as soon as the castle belongs
But,
to me.
like, so, really, to me, it depends on what that person was told for this maternity leave
Nothing
situation.
like this has
Depends
ever
what this
happened
person
before.
is told. Because
I
if I
looked
went up
through
and
all
said,
the records in
because
the
if I
library,
had
but
asked,
couldn't find a
I think I
single
would have
clue.
clarified
Oh.
that if they randomly
We should go
Uh,
ask
went on
somebody who
maternity
knows
leave,
lots of stuff that
they would
ain't
be
in any
working-
book.
It's pregnancy.
Yeah,
It
it's
should be
pregnancy.
it's pregnancy.
Yes,
Like
that's perfect. Merlin just
every
might know
person,
something
every
about this
adult in the
mess.
world knows
Let's
that there's
ask
some
his advice.
uncertainty.
We saw him
Exactly.
in Hollow
Not
Bastion,
even just
right?
some. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Let's go.
uncertain.
There is she was also literally scheduled until her due date. So like, that's
Oh, so
clearly
th-
I
this
think
happened.
that's a bit of a blunder as well.
This happened.
Um,
Oh, she was scheduled to her due date. Oh, she didn't leave
I
until
think
her due date.
I think like leading up to it, she was scheduled. I think leading up to her due date, she had her kid like a bit early, which honestly like I think everyone should have been very expected, because the girl who was pregnant She's like 20. She's diabetic, and she weighs like less than 100 pounds.
Okay.
Which is a whole different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
This is her second kid.
Okay. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
but regardless.
I feel like for the most part, it was agreed to, you know.
I think so. Here are my thoughts. I think there's
Anybody home?
it's mutually a problem. I think the person. I think they shouldn't like. I think there shouldn't it shouldn't have ended in a situation where like there was the potential for this to be dropped on her so short notice. Assuming that it wasn't that like
since the last time I saw
like because like
Really?
they also at no point
Let's talk about the problem. It's magnificent.
Derek?
Where?
Hello?
Inside the castle?
Derek?
I'm having some
Yup,
serious
and
connection
Heartless
issues.
too.
Stop.
Oh dear.
Magnificent wants to send over the
Connect
whole
with me,
cast
Derek.
Leona. She filled the whole cornerstone with tiny
Alright.
bags and she's
I
kind
had
of full.
serious connection issues.
Bye,
Okay.
bye, Donald. Hello, Queen Minnie.
So
The queen is in danger. What?
Oh, hello, Donald.
Perhaps I'd better just see for myself.
Keep going, Derek.
Interesting.
oh Marlon.
What's happening,
So
Marlon?
This is not good.
But, like,
In
this shouldn't have been a
fact,
problem.
I'm afraid it's quite
This shouldn't have been a problem
serious.
because I don't think she should have been scheduled as long as she was. And I do think that manager should have said, like sometime in advance, they should have like earlier in the week. Which she
What's
also
that?
would
My boy, that
never tell
is
me
a
the truth.
gateway
She doesn't
to
tell
a
me the truth
special
in the
world.
first place.
Someone in that
tell me
world
that
is
they're actually, like,
responsible
she
for
give me
what's
her
going
side of
on
the
in
story
this
that's completely
castle.
biased.
Of that, I'm
Right.
certain.
Not true.
We knew we could count on you, Merlin.
So they very well may have had some sort of
Then
mutual
we
agreement
should go
beforehand.
get him.
Wait a
But
moment.
they should have said
The
something like,
perpetrators
"Hey,
must be
just so
stopped,
you know,
of course, but there's something else to do first.
if like if this week,
Somewhere in that world, there should be
the one
another
girl has her
world that's
kid,
identical to this one.
you're gonna next week
I
you're gonna
believe
have
our
to
enemies
quickly
are
switch your dates around
utilizing
next week.
that door. As long as it remains open, the
Yeah.
castle will be in
That
grave
should
danger.
have been said.
Listen
At the
carefully,
same
son.
time,
You must find that
employee
door, and when you
also
do,
should
lock
have-
it with your
have,
keyblade.
uh,
Got it.
had gotten this hashed out if there was
And now
concern
one
with this.
more thing.
If there
You're
if
heading into a
you
very
shouldn't just
special world.
you know, it's kind of on you as well as an employee
While
to
you're
protect
there,
yourself
the nature of that
like this
world
from
may tempt you
happening
to do something dark.
by making sure that
you must resist that
that
temptation
you
at all
understand
costs.
everything that's to be expected.
What do you mean?
And you
You'll know
if you're
soon
not
enough.
sure about
I
like
have
what they're gonna
faith
do
in
in
you,
scenarios
my lads.
like this, you press managers for answers and try to get them. Of like, hey, so like if she has her kid early, am I gonna be thrown on nights early out of nowhere?
Yeah.
So you at least have, so you can at least like
The other situation is
I
the other aspect of this is unless she was told otherwise on that regard, even if it wasn't necessarily said, I could still see it being. Oh, by the way, we're in
I remember
Looney
this.
Tunes.
I remember.
Anyhow,
There's the corner.
even in the past,
Not
they
Looney-
just sound like that, Derek. Don't worry. Even if they didn't
What's going on?
explicitly say
Everything's black and white.
the maternity thing,
I
don't- if she truly has
Deja
nothing
vu?
going on, and 3
Really?
days in advance,
Have you
and
been
she
here
agreed
before?
to it, I feel like it's sort of like
Hey,
situationally.
you.
Oh,
Ain't
I
any
get
bad
it,
guys
you know?
around here?
Not like it's not like the management really.
Why, you oughta...
First off, with the maternity, ignoring the maternity thing, I'll come back to that in a
Nah,
second.
I don't
It's not
have
like the
time to waste
management made a
on punks
mistake
like
or
you,
something.
so I guess
that
I'll
she's
go
having a
easy
child,
on ya.
which is why you got switched around there.
Yes.
You know.
Well, there's our villain.
Yes, but it should still be a question. It should be a question, not telling.
I don't know about that.
Decided, like decided it.
It's sort of because especially because they already talked to her about it.
Okay.
Like I see that it's sort of like well, is this not what? Like I can see maybe there's like a
They
bit of a
told her that she would,
miscommunication.
from what I was told, she was told that she would be taking over the overnights when she had her kid. That was the only, to my extent, that was the only discussion that was had about it. To my knowledge, that was the only discussion that was had about it.
And you know, that's it's actually exactly what happened, is it not?
I'm saying they're both stupid.
I don't know. I don't know. Because again, it does depend situationally. But it sounds like this actually was ironed out.
Because
to me, based on the context given.
So the way I see it, if I thought, because I tried to think about this, like, okay, if I was in this situation, what would I do? Of like, if I was in the situation of the person who's being forced into a shift, and like the managers are like, you know, they're saying like, well, you're working this because we need someone to cover the shift.
Right.
And I had stuff going, even if my stuff is just recording Zinker,
Yeah.
which is a different thing. Because
Right.
actually, because like, so the girl who was supposed to come in, she told basically the manager, one of the managers yesterday, hey, like, I'm just not coming in tomorrow because like I'm not feeling, like I was supposed to have it off. I have things like I plan to do. I'm not coming in. And
Right.
the manager was basically like, well, you don't have any enough sick time, so expect a write-up
Not
coming
so
your way.
bad.
And then she basically said like, I have a bunch of paperwork to get out of my office.
I mean, so like I've kind of gotten that. I had not in that specific scenario. I've done something similar though. Someone wanted to call out because their whatever family made plans or whatever. Like so like they texted the MOD phone we have, the manager duty phone. It's like, is it a call out? Sorry, what do I text to call out if I need to tomorrow? And I said this phone number, and it'll be an unexcused absence. You know, kind of like being like, yeah, you'll get in trouble for it. Don't do that. But a different scenario than this one going on.
Here. Are you sure you're Pete?
So,
well, of course I'm Pete.
and I want to stress this, like, if she actually has plans, I think this is a different scenario. But if she really doesn't actually have anything going on, obviously we can't pry. No one's allowed to pry.
Made a mistake.
But just sort of like on a personal thing.
He hasn't even called him heartless.
You know, like, you were talked about this maternity thing.
Sorry,
Maybe they dropped the ball and didn't specify this exact scenario.
Oh, yeah?
But
Well,
I
if you're
feel
really
there is
sorry,
reason
then go
enough
find my
to
steamboat.
come to this conclusion that
Yes,
this
sir.
could have happened.
Oh, my hickey back.
3 days in advance. It's not a lot of a time, but given the situation and that they've asked about the maternity thing already, with a
It's downpouring
bit
here.
of a-
That's why I keep breaking up.
I see. I feel like there's a bit of a
I'm not trying to interrupt, just throwing that in there in case I have an issue.
right. I feel there's a bit of a, like, there could be like a bit of an assumption of okay, yeah, if it happens suddenly, you're gonna be switched to us. And again, if she actually has,
stupid.
if she actually
But,
has
like,
something going on, I think that's different. That really is different. But if she doesn't actually have anything going on, is just doing this, I feel like she basically agreed to this thing, and is just screwing over management. Like, they came up, they did, because keep in mind, as according to what you said and that she said, they did approach her about this, right? Or did they just say they were going to do it? Either or, though.
Yes,
They warned ahead of time.
This was previously discussed of when she goes on maternity, you're going to take over your overnights again, and which will mean your days off will change.
And yeah, and
She wasn't expected until next week.
But
That's the thing.
That you know, that's the thing. That's exactly what happened, though. That they didn't they didn't lie about it, and unless it was like shadily done so she wouldn't know what happened, which I don't think is the situation, even as described to me, here, you know, like, I don't think, the only I would see an excuse if they did it like the day before, maybe, but like, I feel that was something that could have been expected.
So let me give you more of my thoughts on it.
Sure.
Because I have more thoughts on it. I've only told you, I've mostly just described the situation. So my thoughts are, especially like if I was in this, first off, if I was in this situation, I would have accounted for this, and there would have been I would have had several discussions with them about what's going to happen in certain scenarios, because I'm not a savage like most of those people. I'm prepared. I like to be prepared for I like to know things. So I like to get answers out of management so that I can use their answers against them later when they try to screw me over.
Right.
So I would have 100% like talked to them and gotten this whole thing figured out first.
Right.
Like, of what would happen in this scenario. Which would have led to me.
I don't think they're trying to screw
not making
her over,
any plans for that Monday.
Just to know.
They're not trying to screw her over. I don't think they're trying. I don't think it's intentionally trying to screw her over, but I think they are by just. I do think it is screwing her over by just saying, well, she had to leave, so you are like, I don't care what you were doing. You're coming in. Like, I don't like cancel your plans. You're coming in.
But
that's kind of what they're trying. That's kind of what they're trying to say.
But again, like it really just depends how this talk went down. But like, it's already at this point. I would say it's basically scheduled. You know, what I do when I want to guarantee someone comes in for a shift we discussed about, I schedule them for it, which means it is now their problem. Yes. And it doesn't matter if it's the next day.
It wasn't scheduled. It wasn't scheduled until a couple days until
But
it wasn't
had
like
discussed
they
about
discussed
the
it, and then it wasn't.
That's the thing.
But Zinker, they discussed about the situation well before this. But when the time actually came, they just scheduled her. They just flat out scheduled her and told her, "Hey, she's on maternal leave, so you're scheduled now for this day," and didn't give a choice in the matter of springing that on her early. I think she could have done more to prepare for the scenario.
I don't know if it matters. You know, if I ask you like, hey, in November, if I need you to get fucked up by some hammer dudes on a Tuesday randomly, can I rely on you? Randomly or whatever, like suddenly, and then you're like, yeah, sure. You can't. And then you come to us, even if we discuss this, like, in summer.
What are they building?
And if you come to us in November when we do actually put you on, like, 2 days out of nowhere, you're like, oh, I can't do that. It's shitty on us because we discussed it priorly, you know? We were under this agreement, even if it sounds old.
I knew it.
You know, we already discussed this and ironed it out. And as far as we knew, we were relying on you.
Let's get those heartless.
Whoa!
But what if you have to move it up a week early?
What do you mean move it up a week early?
Well, because that's what this whole thing was. Is they did so like if Zinker, if you tell me, hey, on November 11th, I need you to come in. I know that would normally be a day off for you, but I need you to come in on. That's like one of the days off that we or like weekly days off. Like you're normally off on. I'm off on Thursdays. If you told me, I know you're off on Thursdays, but we need you to come in on the 11th. Can you, or in like 2 months, can you do that? And I say sure. Then cool. I already planned for it. And then if it gets to be like the beginning, if it's November 1st, and you tell me, oh hey, yeah, so we actually need you. We actually are gonna need you the week before. Still on Thursday, but the week before. So I am like, whether or not I had things planned even, if you suddenly are taking and swapping one of my days off, that I'm expecting to have, I'm going to be livid. I'm going to say, that's not no, we said next week. You have me
That's not the
on the 11th.
situation.
You don't have me on the 4th.
The situation described is when
What
this
are they
person
building?
leaves the maternity leave, you'll work her overnight shifts. This person left for maternity leave,
Yes.
and now you're working her overnight shifts. And then you're like, well, I can't
I
now.
understand what you're saying. I understand what
knew
you're
it.
saying. Now I get
You really
yes,
saved the
but
day.
I can't. It's saying I can't. Zinker, there's a difference between, like, yes,
Now,
but
let's get those
okay.
heartless.
How about? Well, what if she physically was unable to Zinker? Like, how about what if in this scenario, like, she's right, like she has to like ride share, like she has to have someone drive her in, and she previously planned like, hey, look, or like if she previously planned with whoever was giving her a ride, like, okay, starting next week, you're gonna have to give me rides on Mondays, and then or Mondays and Tuesdays, and then suddenly they're like, hey, you're coming in Monday and Tuesday, a week earlier than you expected, even if it's 4 days in advance. Well, what if she wasn't physically able to even come in on those days? What do you do?
So this is
Like,
something
what if she physically could not make it there because
this is something.
that's what's
So
early?
first off, with the transportation thing, and pretty much every job will have you agree to this to some regard. And it is a little shitty, but you do also technically agree to it. You basically agree to have reliable
How do you like that?
transportation when you're expected to. So the rideshare thing or whatever argument doesn't really
Hey,
work
look.
there because as a debate for this, because the debate here is whether you should be expected to go on that day or not. Does that make sense? If the answer is yes, you
absolute
should be
idiot.
expected to go on
You've
that day,
managed to fail at
then
everything.
it's just your problem for
And
not
what's
having a
more,
ride that day.
You
Because
foolishly
you've
thought you
pretty
could
much
take my
already
place
agreed to
while
that
I was
Right,
away.
but then
Well, as of now,
that
right,
you
but
have
at that
reliable
point though, why
transportation.
bother
mark
getting
my
why
words, there'll be no
at
place
that
for you
point
when
though,
our time
like,
comes.
it would be easier for them to just at that point it'd be easier for them to just say, I feel like at that point it's easier for them rather than or like keep you involved in this problem. Rather, it's easier for them to just schedule, like, try to figure
here's
something
the
out
deal.
instead rather than
Here's the deal,
be,
Derek.
rather
if I
than be
can't,
bullheaded on you are in fact coming in.
here's the deal, Derek. If I went up to someone like, hey, can I randomly put you on for a Tuesday? And they have to rely on the ride. They would probably be like, sure, but you gotta let me know a couple days in advance so I can see if I can get a ride for that day. And I'll be like, oh, okay, sure. So this would be brought up during that. This should be brought up during that discussion. Otherwise, because it's not like we fucking know your ride
So
thing.
that's
If you just say, yeah, that's
I don't
fine.
see that's part of the problem is
No, wait, hold on. I wasn't finished.
I don't know
Yeah,
that
I wasn't
discussion.
I wasn't finished.
Look,
If you don't, if
Do you think maybe we got
if you
bigger?
fuck, what was I saying?
hey, look
If
at the
I come up to you and like say, hey, can I randomly throw you in this Tuesday, this upcoming week, and you're like, sure, and then I do, and then you're like, hey, I can't get a ride that day. I'm gonna be kind of like upset. The exception is I have had that happen to me, but they text me back the same day, like, oops, I actually can't get a ride, or which that I'm not so upsetty about, because it's like, okay, maybe they thought they had a ride, but they got back to me same day and correct. But not like
well, this person the same day was flat out saying, like, I can't next week.
That wasn't the same day it happened. They discussed this maternity
The day that
thing.
they were told they were.
They discussed this maternity
Oh,
thing.
well,
Although
yeah.
that is good that they did it
Yes.
that. Well, yeah, the day this was discussed. I'm talking about the day it was discussed, not like the day it's like
Yeah. Well, the day was Zinker. This was discussed several months in advance.
I mean, still. You talk, they like.
Well, it's hard to plan for that specific out though. I don't. I guess they should have been, but I don't. So, like I said, I don't know the exact. I don't know the exact situation of what was exactly established. All I know is my coworker. I heard my coworker's side, which was a very biased, of course, and complained to me because obviously she's the one that feels she's being wronged.
Right.
I tend to agree still because for one thing, I also know my managers and how shitty they are and how they would do a shitty thing like this, and just drop it out of nowhere. I'm very adamant with my manager with my job where if someone nobody tells me I'm staying late. Nobody tells me I'm coming in early. Nobody tells me anything different about my schedule unless it's 2 weeks in advance. When they make the schedule, they can ask, but no one tells me. If they told me, hey, you're gonna stay an extra hour late today, I would tell them, I don't believe I am. I believe I will be leaving. I will be walking out that door at my scheduled time. Because it's you can't drop stuff like that on people, and like obviously, and which I think you get because like that was what your story was about. You can't really drop that. You can't just drop that and tell people they're going to be unexpected because, if I had a doctor's appointment at 1 a.m. Which would be an hour after I leave. Zinker, okay, I'll give you an example too. I think my work has come to understand that this is how I am, because like, I think I've established it.
I was laughing at the one
because they knew.
Doctor appointment there.
I know, I know, because it doesn't exist. I know.
Yeah.
But my point is today because or this morning, the manager in the morning, because they knew my coworker wasn't going to be there because she told them yesterday, they texted me and said, hey, can you stay until 2 today? They probably would have asked me to work a double if they knew that I would, if they didn't, or like but they probably would have asked that to someone else, but they probably knew I won't do that at this point. They asked me if I can stay till 2, and you want to know what I told them?
What?
I told them I can work, or I can work until 1. Because you know why I told them I can work until 1?
No. Is that your scheduled time?
Because nope. Because I was scheduled till 12. I told them I can work until 1. They also put in there that I would get out early later this week, which is good that they put that because which I already knew that, but it's good that they thought to put that there because I won't do anything extra with no incentive. I worked until 1 because I was going to be here at 2. And I was not going to. Yes, and I was not going to cancel my plans for their sake.
Oh, that's understandable.
We had not previously discussed this, previously decided upon anything.
Right.
If they told me, like, hey, you're gonna work till 2 today, I would have flat out told them, nope, I will be walking out that door no later than, or I will be walking out that door at 12. I wouldn't even say the hour in that case.
I agree. I agree if it's a day of. I think if you're given a couple days in advance and you're told, hey, you're gonna stay an extra hour or something at close. Well, I mean, you did happen to obviously you did happen to have plans. That was like 2 hours. I really don't think that's that much of a big of a deal. Although if you again in the situation that someone actually had something going on, I think we would work around it anyway.
Which I did.
We tend to anyway.
You can count on me.
You know,
my manager that was going to be stuck there working alone the whole night came up to me and was like, what or she said I guess she told me she came up and then she asked, or like shortly before I left, she asked me, what are your plans at 2? Because I told them I have plans at 2. Like I'm gonna be here till 1. I have plans at 2. And she asked me, and I told her I have a friend who I have plans with a friend online that I intend to hang out with at 2. He has this work similar situation. We're both available at 2. We're gonna be hanging out at 2. like I wasn't even gonna hide that like it was a personal thing. I don't care.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not their business
Well,
in the first place.
I
And
feel,
even if
I
it
feel
is-
like
even- it's not. And
I
if it-
don't, Derek, in that situation, from what it sounds like, I feel like they're just actually genuinely curious as opposed to doubting you.
Oh, she was genuinely curious. No, she was genuinely curious, which is also why I said what it actually was, because she afterwards she said like, she was like, okay, because I was just like I asked like, because like I asked the other manager, I was like, was he like, because like she said you can only stay till 1, and I was like, well, why can't you only stay till 1? And she said he had plans. She was like, why does he have plans at 2?
It happens, you know, like, because I get that a lot at work where I feel like people, you know, like they get ready to like defend themselves. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I was just curious.
Yeah.
You know, I really.
I will happily like, because like if Zinker, I'll be honest, part of me like, if they ever ask me what are you doing, I'll probably tell them like it depends on it's situational dependent, but I'll probably usually tell them what I'm doing, because I'm waiting for I'm waiting for the one time where they're like, well, that's not a good reason, and I'll be like, I don't care what you think about my reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't like because in this scenario, it doesn't matter. The reason doesn't for why I can't come to work does not matter. The thing that matters is I cannot come in.
Right. I should note, there is one thing that kind of goes against this, for my part. If you were scheduled to the closing time on at my work, we normally like we schedule people to like say 10, and then 10:30 the people that are actually closing down their attractions. And even though they schedule people like that, and pretty much the moment I became supervisor, manager, whatever, I was basically like, if you are scheduled to closing time, you are assisting everyone else in their area close. I am so big on that. I am like big anal on that. Because I used to stay all the time to help people. Because some people would fucking be there until like 10:30 when everyone could just pitch out and everyone's out 10:10. You know, and some people, they leave at like 10:01 because they have to pull out a fucking key. And that's their goddamn close. It's really like peeving me off.
I just gotta smash that cornerstone.
And I don't care what argument you give, unless it's like you literally like legally aren't allowed to work for some reason.
Get my old book back.
Actually, I guess this isn't true, but like, for the most part, I don't care what argument you give. I usually will force you to stay. But I want to know, sometimes.
I have
like
2
people,
points.
I'm not.
We met here had kind of an attitude, but he
Uh,
didn't seem like a bad
I have had
guy.
people being like, hey, I have to leave, I have homework, or I have to leave and not specify why. Or they've clearly had a bad day. And in those situations, I won't even ask. Well, usually I say, no, you have to stay. But I'll look at them. Well, sorry. In the case where they say they have the homework thing, I usually won't let them go. Unless it's like, this will literally take you 2 minutes. Then it will take you 2 minutes.
Hey, hold it right there.
Or if they had like a bad day, usually what I'll do is I'll tell them they have to stay. I'll look at them and I can tell exactly the kind of day they had. And I'm like, oh, you're all set. Have a wonderful night. Or something, something like that.
Just somebody who looks like me.
Oh, which is
It's been a long episode.
So, my thoughts on that. If part of my leaving is making sure everything in my area is done, and even if that involves other people,
Yep.
like doing stuff too. If I have to stay late because I didn't get my stuff done, or because stuff's not done,
A little wasp.
I think I'm breaking out.
I hear you still. That save point sounded like
Can you hear me now?
I heard you before. You never cut out there.
Okay, well, I opened Kast and tried watching, and then I immediately started like having trouble. So, yeah, we buy Kast again. It's okay. I've seen this game before.
Well, that's
I'm
unfortunate.
only missing the
No wonder
cool
why.
area.
No wonder why you haven't been reacting to any of this. I didn't even realize you were watching the whole time.
So yeah, I had to close gas. So if it's if my work isn't done, then I will stay to finish it, because like I'm not gonna. It's if I didn't get my work done, I didn't get it done, or like I'll stay to get done as much of my work as I can. If I have to be there a little late to get something closed, I might not be happy about it, but I will say that I will get it. I'll do it because that's part of what my work was. If I wasn't able to get to it before, or I guess in this case, if I have to wait, you have to wait till a certain time. But like,
I did not
I'll
dodge
still
the
try to get
exploding
it done.
guy there. Also, I
The
just
only
realized there's no.
my exception to this. My exception to this is if my coworkers, if I have to stay later to finish something because my coworkers are slacking or not getting it done, or all shitty, and just like if it's because if I'm basically cleaning up someone else's mess that they left behind because they just didn't do what they were supposed to, or they're taking forever and just not doing what they're supposed to, yeah, I'm gonna be fucking pissed, and I'm not gonna stay to finish that up.
Yeah.
In your case, if my coworkers that you expect me to help are just slow or just not doing their fucking job, yeah, I'm not staying. I'm piecing out when I'm done with my things.
If they're slow, you're staying. If it's because they're slow. If it's because they're slacking off, I'd at least give you that's reasonable. Like they're not doing their shit. If it's because they're not as quick as you though, I don't care. You're still staying. And I'll be. And
if it's Zinker, if it's not because they're not as quick, I get that. I'm hard to keep. I'm a very good worker. I'm a very hard person to keep up with. I understand I'm above my coworkers, in that regard. In that I'm just better than them. I don't expect my coworkers to be as good as I am, because that's very hard. That's a hard hurdle. That's a hard hurdle to make. I expect them to be competent.
I've never done this before. Hey,
I sound like an anime villain when I talk about my coworkers, because because not only do I talk about them poorly, but I also talk about myself as being amazing, which I still fully acknowledge it's true. But in the overall scope of things, I'm talking about my position at an entry-level job. It would be sad if I was a bad worker at a level job. Of course I'm perfect at it. Like, it's not hard.
So what was I gonna say? The other thing with my method is it builds like a sort of friendliness. You're not screwing over your teammates and just leaving them over the thing.
It builds
No, it really does.
It builds a friendliness by making them like you less.
No, it actually though, because everyone helps each other out, and if it's because you're slacking off, everyone around the whole park's gonna fucking hate you. And I've seen it happen. So, and then they kind of learn, don't do that, So it really does work out for the most part, and it helps weed out the people that aren't like particularly great, because if they're trying to like sneeze by without helping anyone, I recognize it. Anyhow,
my coworker that that coworker that thing about having to work the overnight. Fine.
No,
keep
go,
going,
go,
I'm not
go.
done with this.
Go, hurry.
All right, fine. That coworker that was complaining about having her night switched, her days off switched. She tries to screw me over by dumping work on me all the time, and like she lies to me about it too when I call her out on it. And like rather than call her out, I just cuck her from doing it. Like, for example, like she'll be like doing something, whatever. Like I'll take someone's order for like it's a food order. So it takes like 10-15 minutes usually. I'll take it and like I'll set like the receipt down. That like a reminder receipt, so that we'll usually like look at to be like, oh, so we can see like what time the order went in and everything. And I'll set it down, and like 2 seconds later she'll go and grab the receipt and like try to head to the back, and she's gonna go check on this order to see if it's ready. And I'll be like, I'll stop her and be like, I just put that in. And she like looks at me like angrily, like I cut, cause like I don't know if she knows that I know I stopped her from getting away from something with something, but she's trying to like take it back into the kitchen so she can wait for like 10-15 minutes for the order to be ready so she can just like dick around. I fucking stop her from doing that all the time. She gives me a dirty look, and like I don't know if she knows that I know I'm stopping her, but I fucking hate that. Anyways, I had to throw that in there.
That's fair.
I hate all my coworkers.
This is also specifically at close, as opposed to doing your standard thing. Because also, I'm not fucking staying until like 11 to close all this shit down.
You don't close.
It really fucks me over when I have to stay. I already have to do a lot of stuff, and I'm already staying for like so many hours, and then I have to still stay because people didn't put on the fucking carousel fire pit cover. For fuck's sake, every time I come out there, and it's like it's 10 minutes to get down by myself, because one, I have to go find the fucking thing. Usually I have to unlock a door, then I have to put it hard for some reason to put on by yourself. I don't like it. I don't like it. Next time on Speletons, bye. Thanks for watching.